Mike Wallace comments on his Daytona 500 rejection, and LaJoie makes his return to Cup, but he also stirs some controversy. Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Jet. Welcome back to an episode of Inside Lines. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We got a couple stories to talk about here, but first, if you haven't already, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Comment your thoughts down below on any of the stories we'll be discussing in today's episode. Now, we're going to first start off with some very, very sad news. Longtime NASCAR announcer and pit reporter Bill Weber has unfortunately passed away at the age of 67. Now, it was first reported by Daniel McFadden that he had passed away back on December 13th, so already more than a month ago we lost Bill Weber. It was later confirmed last night, it was later confirmed by the National Motorsports Press Association. Now, if you know Bill Weber, obviously 90s, he was with ESPN and Speed World. Then in the 2000s was part of NBC and TNT. Of course, if you watched NBC and TNT's coverage in the early 2000s, you remember like those intros that they would play at the beginning of their coverage with Bill Weber voicing over it. I mean, say what you want about Bill Weber in terms of maybe play calling may not be the best thing, but him as a pre-race host and him doing the intros were absolutely beautiful. I mean, it was like Lee Diffie doing voiceover or Bob Varsha doing voiceover when he did F1. It was to that level. Insanely great host, great pit reporter, and one that would certainly be missed. So now let's shift over to Mike Wallace. We discussed in a previous episode, a few episodes ago, about Mike Wallace being rejected from the Daytona 500 when at first it seemed as though that he was in. Well, Mike Wallace gave a further statements provided by Matt Weaver from sportsnot.com, clarifying what went down behind the scenes. Simply put, Mike Wallace, he's not bitter, he's not mad, but disappointed and confused. Now, of course, the confusion comes from the fact that he was given clearance, according to him, given clearance by NASCAR President Steve Phelps and other senior executives, but when it came time to the competition department, they rejected him. Now, Ellen Sawyer, who is part of the whole competition department at NASCAR, said that Mike Wallace's situation was basically a cart before the horse situation, and that everything was done out of order, and that Mike Wallace jumped the gun before he was actually given clearance by NASCAR. Now, Mike Wallace provides Matt Weaver with an email, basically stating that he was under the assumption that he was given clearance. So he reached out for guidance on how to get back into NASCAR on December 23rd. NASCAR responded back a week later on January 1st. With this email stating that, good morning, don't anticipate any issues, and we'll present to the group on January 7th. If something comes up, I'll be sure to let you know. That was on January 7th, and then he was denied entry on January 13th. Now, because he was rejected, NASCAR did give him a roadmap back to NASCAR, at least to compete for the 2026 Daytona 500. That'll be for 2025. He has to compete in an intermediate Xfinity Series race, so a mile and a half, compete in a super speedway Xfinity race, and compete at a short track and or a road course in the next gen car to get adjusted to that car for 2026, which Mike Wallace said that that's basically almost impossible, and he has basically come out and said that it seems as though that based on what NASCAR is wanting him to do, that he'll never drive in any of the top national series again. Maybe, or at the very least, he won't compete in the Cup Series ever again, just because of money and age and all that. He said the same in quote, "I'm just very confused. I'm not hung up on it anymore. I thought I was going to race at Daytona at a track where I've won numerous times, but it was a wrong assumption, just disappointed. Maybe I just took it to the wrong table. I may have made a wrong assumption. There's senior leadership and there's the competition department. It just hurts that I feel like they took away this chance for me to honor my wife. And like I said, that's just disappointing." Now, referencing to his wife who passed away earlier before. So this was a way to honor his wife to compete in the Daytona 500. My thoughts on this, based on for what we have seen now, this is all on Mike Wallace. This is clearly jumping the gun. Based on this email, when this email stating, "I don't anticipate any issues and will present to the group on January 7th, I'll let you know if anything happens." To me, that's saying, listen, I don't think it's an issue, but nothing's confirmed yet. I will let you know. That's basically what I'm getting from this email. Nowhere does it state anything that, hey, you know, you're good to go. We'll give you clearance. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing you. Yes, there is a difference between the senior leadership and the competition department. The senior leadership involving Steve Phelps, Jim France, and people like that, yeah, they know Mike Wallace. I'm sure they like Mike Wallace, but they're not in charge of the competition department. That's Elton Sawyer and those guys. So yeah, one group can say something, but another group can say a completely different thing. And at the end of the day, it's a competition department that gives you the clear all in order to go race, not the senior leadership. I know it probably doesn't make sense, but that's just how it works. So the way I look at it, it seems as though that Mike Wallace just simply jumped the gun. He just assumed something, took it as, oh, I think it's not an issue. That means I'm in. No. He doesn't think it might be an issue, but that doesn't mean it's final. You still have to wait. So while it is disappointing because Mike Wallace did say that when he got that email after that, he got a sponsorship going, got his seat fitted and everything like that just to get rejected. But in defense of NASCAR, based on this email, they never told him that he was cleared. They just said that they will discuss it. They never gave the word, yeah, you're good to go. So the way I look at it from this whole situation, while it is unfortunate, this, in my eyes, falls all on Mike Wallace just for taking it the wrong way. So now with that, let's take a look at the open cars list for the 2025 Daytona 500. This is basically all but official. 36 charters compiled with 9 open cars. This will be the largest field in the history of the Daytona 500 since 2015, a decade. So this is a really, really good entry field. Corey LaJoie in the 01 car, driving for Rick Ware Racing. Justin Allgaier in Junior Motorsports' first entry in the 40 ride. JJ Yaley with NY Racing. Martin Drake Jr. in Tricon Garage. Anthony Alfredo in Beard Motorsports. Chandler Smith replacing Mike Wallace in the 66 ride, now titled Garage 66. BJ McLeod and his own team, Live Fast Motorsports. Jimmy Johnson and the Carvana Toyota car, driving for his own team, Legacy Motor Club, now as a majority owner. And Elio Castroneves in the 91 ride for Project 91. Now, this will mean that 4 to 5 drivers will go home after Thursday's dual races. This obviously has to do with Elio Castroneves, because if Elio Castroneves doesn't make it on time or doesn't qualify high enough in his dual race, he will get that 41st entry. So 4 to 5 cars will go home. That does mean, though, that the duels will be very interesting because you look at the names. I mean, Justin Allgaier with Junior Motorsports, so that's going to be a story. Martin Jr. returning, a former Cup Series champion. That's going to be fun. Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion. He's going to be on the cut line. And even though Castroneves, he will be automatically in the 500 still. It will be fun to see the duels have some form of importance, something that it hasn't shown in quite a long time. And finally, Corey LaJoie. Now, we discussed in yesterday's episode about him unveiling his 2025 plans, driving a limited time schedule with Rick Ware Racing, and also joining Amazon Prime's pre-race and post-race coverage with Daniel Trotta in the summer. We covered that, but one thing we did not cover is Corey's reasoning. Why take a limited schedule? Now, he did a sit down with Bob Pockrass, and there was a discussion between him and Rick Ware's son, Cody Ware. Corey LaJoie, to his credit, didn't want to get in the middle of that and said, listen, if you feel like that your son is the best for that, no issue with that at all. But there was a bit of a discussion, a bit of controversy as to Corey LaJoie's statements, because he said he wanted to stay in the Cup Series. But his reasoning for that, it didn't leave a good look to not only himself, but it also left a bad taste in a lot of other people's mouths. He said, quote, because those guys that say they want to try and win 1 or 2 truck races, and they're lifelong truck guys, and they never get to race on Sunday. It's all about Sunday. I don't want to go run F3. I want to be a Formula 1 driver. Yeah, sure. Do you want to go and pump the ego up and hold a trophy on a Friday when there's 12 people in the stands? No, I want to compete against the best, because with every group that I have been with, groups that I have built from the ground up, any given Sunday, we can go contend for a win, whether it's a speedway or we can run top 10 any given week. Now, Josh Rayum, I'm pretty sure if I butchered that name, but if I did, I apologize. He owns a truck and Xfinity Series team, responded with a very charged statement by saying, quote, the Cup Series is indeed the pinnacle, and I can respect his desire to compete at that level. However, my frustration is that he did not communicate this opinion eloquently. Instead, he insulted employees, partners, drivers, owners, fans, and I would suggest NASCAR itself. And I agree with this statement from Josh Rayum. Listen, what he said is right. If you people just want to race on Sundays. I completely get that. But for him to go out and say, if you want to just pump the ego up to win a race when only 12 stands or 12 people in the stands, first off, you're undermining the value of the lower divisions and just treating them as if they are nothing. They don't mean anything when they clearly do. And I must say, this is very bold from a guy that has not won or done anything since his K&N days. I know he hasn't been in the equipment, but to not even wanting to take the chance. Look at John Hunter Nemechek. He was in the Cup Series, I believe, in 2020 with Front Row Motorsports. Elected to go back to trucks under the Toyota banner, elected to go back to trucks. Had success in trucks, had success in Xfinity, and he's got his way back up to Cup. Yes, it's not for a better team, but still, he made his way back up to the Cup Series. So sometimes it's better to take a step back in order to go 2 steps forward. You've heard that saying all the time. Sometimes you have to take 1 step back to go 2 steps forward. It's a saying that's been happening throughout life. It's not necessarily a bad thing to make such a change. And last time I checked, Corey, your father is part of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers, a 2-time Xfinity Series champion. He's on the 75 drivers list, yet never having any success in the Cup Series. All right. Not to mention Sam Ard, Jack Ingram, Mike Stefanik, Richie Evans, Ray Hendrick, all are just some of the names that are part of the 75 greatest drivers of NASCAR to have either no success in Cup or not even compete in the Cup Series. So while I get what Corey LaJoie is trying to say, it's all about Sunday. And I get that, the sponsors, they want to be in the Sunday race. They don't want to be in the Xfinity truck. They want to be where the biggest names are. They want to be the biggest stage where the most eyeballs are. I get that. But how he came across in his comments, like he undermined the Xfinity and truck division and treated them as if they were just nothing. They were just garbage. Ugh, I don't care about that. Who cares? Well, you want to go win that? Fine. It doesn't mean anything when it clearly does. It helps boost a driver's self-esteem. It also could potentially help boost a driver's career. I mentioned with John Nemechek, look also Josh Berry. He spent years racing late models, racing on short tracks, was able to get a few starts in Xfinity Series, capitalize on that, got an Xfinity Series season, capitalize on that, and now he's in the Cup Series driving for the iconic Wood brothers. I mean, again, I get what he's trying to say, but wow, he worded that so poorly, and he ultimately, in my eyes, came off looking like a jackass. And again, that is very bold to say for someone that hasn't done anything since the K&N days. Just saying. But what are your thoughts on any of the 2 stories I discussed in the comment section down below? Like I said, as always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, my name is Jet from MDK. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.